Hey, what is going on, guys? Chris here. Hopefully, you're having a great day. I'm going to share with you today that intermittent fasting actually does not help you lose weight faster, lose fat faster, and I'm going to share with you what actually does. Now, buckle up. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video, but I want to make sure you get all this stuff because right now, kids are back in school. It's starting to get, obviously, it's still really freaking hot, and you might have gone through summer vacation, not taking away memories, but maybe a couple extra lbs, and you might be like, it's time to go work out. It's time to diet. It's time to do things. And there's a couple hot things that are going on right now. And I'm going to share with you the big one, not the big one, the sort of one later, not in this one, but I'm going to share with that just as like a little bit of a something to consider. Bad things happen to good people already that they're not talking about. And I predict it's only going to get worse. So the next one is intermittent fasting, because you'll see tons of people online doing intermittent fasting and how it's so great and how it's helping them lose weight. I'm going to share with you how that is actually not the thing that's losing them weight. And intermittent fasting, without this thing I'm going to share with you, is kind of like having the best drill bit to drill into anything. Somebody created the best one. It's like the best purse. It's like the greatest headphones ever with no battery and with no chain on, with no battery in the headphones, so they don't work. They're without anything to hold money in this nice, awesome purse. It's just empty. There's no bottom on it. It's just the sides. And with the drill bit, it's like having actually no drill. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris. I run a fitness business called it's hard to see it right now, Trailblazer Fitness Academy, where I do help people lose weight and keep it off long term. So if you're interested in stuff like that, all you got to do is click the link in my bio or down below, and we will get you involved in that. But without further ado, let's dive into the actual depth, the actual training in this. But actually, before we do that, before I show you the numbers, I got to go over some things with you so we're all crystal clear. We're on the same page of understanding how this stuff works. So what is intermittent fasting? It's not intermediate fasting, intermittent fasting. That means intermittently, meaning short periods of time, you're going to not eat, or you're going to eat food for long periods of time, eat foods for a short period of time. Typical fasting range is like 16 hours of not eating, 8 hours of eating. Another one's 20 hours and 4. Another one is 1 meal a day. So you only consume 1 meal a day. Okay. Now, the thought behind all this is twofold. Sort of. It's kind of really onefold. And it's all based on this hormone called insulin. Now, what does insulin do, or enzyme, whatever you want to call it, the same difference, okay? So insulin's job is to take sugar that you consume, take it to your muscles, double checks if there's stuff in the muscle, if there's sugar in there that you need, either right now for exercise. Maybe you're exercising, like you're running, and you take some goo, or you eat like honey or something, and if you need it right away to use as energy, it uses it there. If you don't, it takes it to the fat cell. 85% of it goes to the fat cell to be stored as energy for later. Okay, so our bodies are built for survival. That's how this thing works. Okay, so that is the main argument for intermittent fasting, is that the less times you eat, there's less insulin in the blood, which means that you're not putting stuff into cells, sugar into cells, which then means the sugar can't be converted to fat. Now, that's all well and fine, but we have some problems with it, okay? So we're going to dive into the first one. And the first one, the main one, is this thing that there's a magical eating window, that if you eat within a certain window, you're good to go. So I'm not going to dive into this number today for you because I don't freaking know you, okay? But TDEE stands for total daily energy expenditure. Essentially what that means is how many calories do you burn per day just being alive? Let me make sure it's on here so we're good. We are. Okay, am I good? I look good. Sweet. So that's what TDEE stands for. Now, we often think of it, though, is at the beginning of the day, we just get this new influx. It's kind of like a paycheck. We get a paycheck of 2,220 calories if this is you. It's not you, but if this is you. But actually, it's not that. It's per hour your body's burning, because you don't just accumulate it all and bang, here's a lump sum at the beginning of the day. It's every hour this individual burns 92.5 calories, doing all the activity they're doing all of the stuff your body does, the burning of calories from consuming food, and your fitness, okay? And let's say they consume 1,500 calories. So you take this number, You subtract it from that one to figure out your deficit, meaning you eat this much, you consume this much, you burn this much. There has to be something that creates in that gap because you cannot make energy out of nothing. You can't do it. It breaks the laws of thermodynamics, which means any diet you ever do, as long as you do this, you're going to lose fat, okay? Anything. You can pick whatever it is. And so if one diet doesn't work for you relative to the other one, it's either by choice or you aren't in a calorie deficit, plain and simple, okay? So with all of that being said, all this thing is doing, let me make sure, see if I can zoom in so you can see a bit better. There we go. That's probably a little bit better. Let me make sure I'm not covering anything. Nope, I'm good. Okay, so essentially you take this 9250 every single hour and we're banking it. So we go, okay, if I don't consume anything from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., I burn 92.5 calories. That's already in the deficit. I'm already eating up some fat doing that, okay? 1 a.m., still not eating. I'm at 1850. 2 a.m., still not eating. You get the picture, okay? If you eat nothing for the day, guess how many calories you burn for the day? The same one, 2220, 2220, right? But you're likely not going to do that. You're probably going to eat some food, which you should, okay? Now, let's say you're doing a standard American diet. You eat at 7 o'clock in the morning on the way to work, and you're eating 1,500 calories a day. We're going to assume it's the same carbohydrates, proteins, fats, which we'll get into in a minute later, why that'll be important, okay? The same amounts and the same quality, okay? So we got 500 there. Let's say at lunch, you eat another 500, and then at dinner time, you eat another 500. Here's what we can expect, okay? Is that on these times that you're eating, you see how we're banking, and then we eat. But you got to subtract it, right? You take this number, you still burn the same 92.5 in this time, but you ate 500. So you're upwards 647. We had to subtract 500, but add in the 9250, which gives us this 240, right? You take this number, you add this number, subtract that one. Pretty sweet, okay? Now, you do this again, and guess what? At 8 o'clock, you don't eat again. So you bank that 9250. Same here. You keep banking it until noon. And then, sheesh, you might be like, well, man, look at this. In 2 meals, I'm already basically starting out at like 2 a.m. on tackling the fat. Yep, that's how it works. How often? Every time. Pretty crazy. Okay, so we keep going. And then bang, at 6 o'clock again, you're like, sheesh, I'm back again to 2 a.m. This stinks. Yeah, but then the rest of the day, you're not doing anything, okay? So you're at 720. The same thing we predicted there. What happens, though, if we tighten up your eating window? What happens? Let's say we eat, we don't eat at 7. Let's say we eat at, let's say the first one's at noon, and we're doing the 8-hour one. So let's say you eat at 4. Let's say you eat at 7. So that way you're done eating by 8 o'clock if you're a slow eater. Let's see what it says at the bottom. Does it say anything lower than 720? No, shoot. Doesn't. Dang it. What if we did, let's tighten up that eating window though. Let's tighten it up. Let's say if we do at 2 o'clock, we eat at noon, 2, and at 4. Let's see. Does it say anything less than 720? No, shoot. Doesn't again. Let's say we eat 1 meal a day and it's at noon every day. Okay, 0, 0. Shoot, it still says 720. Darn it. Because that's how it works, right? Is it doesn't matter in the middle of the day when you eat, as long as you eat the same amount of calories, you are burning the same amount. In fact, if you were to look at this chart here, you would see that at noon, you actually made fat if it were to happen that fast, which it doesn't, but that's neither here nor there, right? You actually made fat at noon, and you're still making fat all the way up until 3. Not making it. You're still not even touching your fat cells because from at 11 o'clock at that point in the day, you've only burned 1,110 calories, but you just consumed 1,500. Oh man, did I just get fatter? Yes, you did, technically. In that moment, you potentially got fatter. Now it doesn't get to the cell immediately, right? It takes some time. And digestion takes some time. So that's neither here nor there too, okay? So interesting, doesn't work that way. Darn it. Here's something crazy though, is that the next one, the insulin one, let's look at the insulin argument. The argument is that when you eat foods that, when you eat more often, your insulin bumps up throughout the day. Okay. And now, is that true? Nope, it's not true. Let's assume you're eating the same meal, the same items, okay, in the 1,500 calorie diet that we just showed you. Same exact stuff. All we're doing is we're changing the amounts. Okay, same stuff, same exact thing. We're just now changing the amounts of foods that you're eating. So here's what happens. This is your blood sugar. Okay, blood sugar. Think of it kind of like a thermostat in your car, or not in your car, in your house. Okay, I'm in Arizona. It's hot as balls. Okay, so when right now that thing's running all the time. The AC is. Why is that? Well, it's 110 outside. I keep my house at 74. So anytime that thermostat gets a feel of the temperature in the house that it's going to be above 74, what does it do? Kicks on. It goes, you said 74. I feel like it's 75 in here. I got to kick this AC on, the air conditioner, so that we can get some cold air in here so I can get below that 74 number so I don't have to kick on anymore. Make sense? Problem, if it does, then it's not what we want. So your blood sugar and your insulin and your pancreas does the same thing, right? Your pancreas in your stomach has feelers, these little nerves, and they're tacking on into your blood, and they go, ooh, this food we're eating, tons and tons of insulin, tons of sugar, tons and tons of sugar. Problem, because if you have a bunch of sugar in your cells, guess what? Bad things happen to good people. You get neuropathy, you get high blood pressure, your blood turns into syrup, your heart works really hard. It gets, for long periods of time, if your heart's working really hard, you can get congestive heart failure because that muscle begins to hypertrophy. It gets big and tough, big old muscles, and then not enough blood can fit in there. So essentially, when you do that, you're basically suffocating yourself, which is pretty terrifying to think about, and there's nothing you can do to reverse it, which is the scarier part, okay? So with all that, when you eat fat, what happens to your blood sugar, if you had to guess? What happens to your blood sugar? It doesn't do anything. And I know it looks wavy. It's because I'm using a mouse and it's really hard. So it doesn't do anything. Why doesn't it do anything? Because insulin only responds to carbohydrates. It doesn't respond to fat. Doesn't do that. It's gallbladder's job. Okay? It's not insulin's job. What happens if you have protein? Protein, itty bits of wiggles. Not a ton, but itty bits of wiggles. Why is that? If you had to guess. Why is it that when you eat some protein, itty bits of jumps? Where's sugar in our body? The mitochondria, right? The powerhouse of the cell. Where's sugar in meat? Mitochondria. Do we eat the meat? Yes. Is there sugar in the meat that's in the protein? Yes. Itty bit amounts. But is there, and has it been shown to spike your insulin just a little bit? Yes. But is it in the range? Your blood sugar, is it within the range of it needing to do anything? No, it's not. So protein does not I should have said earlier, I think I misspoke. Protein does not spike your insulin levels, but it might raise your blood sugar, but not enough unless you're eating honey soaked bacon or something like this, or something that has sugar on top of it, like ham on Christmas Day or something like this, where it's soaked and it's like coated in brown sugar. But it's not the ham, it's the sugar, right, that does that. Next, here's what happens when you eat high glycemic index sugar. Shoot, blood sugar goes all over the place. Why is this? Because high glycemic index means that your body, it's a simple sugar, means that it's made of usable parts right away, not bad. That doesn't mean a bad thing. It just is. And so if you take sugar that's ready to use, your insulin, especially when it's a lot of it, your insulin comes out and goes, oh shit, there's a lot. I need to make a bunch. I need to take all of it and rip it down. It tries to beat the demand, and that's when you get low blood sugar. And then when you eat something to get your blood sugar up, because guess what happens when you have low blood sugar? You have another enzyme. I believe it's called glucagon. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Your glucagon that then goes, hey, we need sugar because we're low. And then guess what? You eat sugar again, bang, and it goes up and then down and up and down. That's what causes diabetes. That's it. bang, and lack of activity. But that's what starts the diabetes cycle happening. Okay. And so what happens when you eat a low glycemic index carbohydrate? You're going to have a little bit of insulin spike, a little bit. But is it bad? No. Thank God it does happen. Okay. Because if it doesn't happen, sugar stays in your blood. When sugar stays in your blood, what happens is neuropathy, your joints, your toes start falling off because you can't feel them. Your eyes don't work anymore. You have high blood pressure. Again, all the bad things that we have, right? You're not good things. So thank God that you do have insulin that goes out, okay? What we don't want is these highs and lows. You're not going to get that from eating some rice and a banana and some berries, okay? You're not going to get it from that. You're not even going to get that if you have that every single meal. What you are going to get it from is eating boatloads of it, over consuming it, and then sitting around and doing nothing with it, okay? Because then when your sugar's full in your muscles because you've been sitting around all day, insulin goes, well, we don't need to go anywhere. The stuff, we're already done. Our job's good. So when blood sugar's there, we're like, we already know we're not doing anything. Why should we move? Why should we even be moving around? It doesn't make any freaking sense. So it doesn't. And guess what? That's diabetes, homie. That's exactly the definition of freaking diabetes. Can't have it, right? And here's the other thing. What happens if we eat sugar alcohols? Some of these things that are in foods that are like sugar replacements. Think of them like in some diet sodas and what's the other ones? Like these guys. Like think of the bad things like the aspartames and all these things that people all get upset about. These peach American drinks. I think this has aspartame in it. Yep, aspartame. Okay. What happens? Doesn't move your blood sugar. Doesn't move it at all. Why is this? Because there's no sugar in it. So it doesn't do anything. But it's sweet. Yeah. Pretty sweet, isn't it? Pretty cool. And you might be like, well, aspartame is terrible for you. Actually, not really. It's not. This new thing that came out is silly goose. If you were to really look into it, I'm not going to get into it in this video because it's not the point. It's dumb. They're being fear-mongering and it's silly. Okay. So what happens though what happens if you eat 2 meals a day of the same thing that does this? Let's assume this is what happens when you eat 2 meals at different times. Okay. What if you eat smaller meals, but the same stuff? I counted, these things went up a total of 18 units. They would just go up 6 units. Shorter time, it's still going up the same 6 units. 1 meal, it goes up to 18 units, which is off this page and goes back down, okay? There's nothing different with it. So what can you do to actually lose weight so that you can get results and not have to try to get yourself in this tight little window? Now, just to be clear, you could do that if you wanted to. It's not helping you, but you could if you wanted to. The thing that you would do is track your damn food, know how many calories you're burning each day, eat at times that are convenient. Okay? You don't need to try to smash something into an inconvenient window if you're not tracking your food. You're doing things in the wrong order. You got to track your food first and then care about what time you're eating it. Because in those same 4 hours, could I not eat an entire cake? No, you shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't. But you should start with that first. Because intermittent fasting versus not has been shown in studies over and over and over and over again to do nothing, to help with nothing different than if you were just to track your food. A recent study was in 2022, time-constricted eating versus regular eating. No difference in weight loss, no difference in hormones, no difference in anything. It's a fad. So if you want to do it, you're more than welcome to, especially if it's something you don't enjoy. If you don't enjoy breakfast, cool. Don't eat breakfast. Just make sure you hit your calories for the day that you need to elicit the response that you want, and you're good to go. Make sense? Hopefully this is helpful. If you did find this helpful, please like the video, comment down below. If you're on one of the platforms this video is shared at, please subscribe so that way I can get my content out to more people. It'd be really, really cool. On YouTube, I'm at 96 subscribers. It'd be really awesome to hit over that so that I can start getting out to more people. Cool. I have more videos than subscribers, so please help me out, okay? This stuff is good. You're not getting taught these things because people want to just tell you what to do, not how to do it, and that's what I'm here for. Have a great freaking day. Kick some butt, take some names. I'll talk to you soon.